What is up, you guys, and welcome to the Chosen League podcast, where fire sports content is the name of the game. I am Devin, your favorite sports analyst. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload an episode. Watch this episode all the way to the end because I don't want you guys missing out what I have in store for you today. So, the Sacramento Kings and Demar Derozan, as we know, they signed Demar Derozan to a 3 year, $74 million deal. It's not looking pretty good for the Sacramento Kings right now. And what it seems to me is DeMar DeRozan, after acquiring DeMar DeRozan, they haven't looked like the same team. So with DeMar DeRozan in mind, averaging 22.8 points, 3.9 rebounds, 4 assists, and shooting 49.9% from the field. Also, the Kings are 12th in the Western Conference. They're 13 and 13, and they're last in their division. Plus, DeMar DeRozan being the guy he is, he's second. He's second in scoring for the Sacramento Kings. His last 5 games, it's been an up and down. Like he's basically been averaging close to nearly 30 points. His last 5 games, his last 5 games, one between New Orleans, 29, 2-3. He had 4 steals against Utah, 18-4, 1-1. He had, one block versus Utah, 23, 2-3 against San Antonio, 26, 1-3 against Memphis, and 16, 5-5 against Houston. So what we see here is if you guys really noticed the chemistry that was going on with the Sacramento Kings, De'Aaron Fox began to find his rhythm again, Domantas Sabonis, Keegan Murray, all this team was really aligned and everything was clicking. They were in the as you know, or if you do or you don't know, looking at the Kings in their previous years, in the 2023-24 season, they were in the play-in tournament, and then the 2022-23 season, they were third in the Western Conference. So this was a team who was destined to be a playoff contender. They were going to make a lot of noise, and this was way before DeMar DeRozan even came into the picture. They were on fire. I mean, the chemistry, their passing game, Domantas Sabonis knocking down mid-range shots, De'Aaron Fox being a guy who he is, getting to the basket, attacking the basket, getting the ball to his teammates. The chemistry was there. But until now, they're in this position they're in. They're struggling. DeMar DeRozan really hasn't been a factor for this team, and they're in a slump right now. It's still early on the season. We already know they're in the NBA Cup tournament. You know that once that's over, then we can translate over and see where this goes. But for right now, they're really struggling, and this isn't looking good for the Kings. Let me know in the comment section what you guys think. Is DeMar DeRozan the reason the Kings aren't making any progress? Because there are a lot of things that could play into the factor. He may, if it is DeMar DeRozan, he just might not be a fit. Now, DeMar DeRozan and what he's able to do on the court, as you've seen with Chicago, when he was in Chicago after Lonzo Ball went down, once DeMar DeRozan became the leader of the team, you start to see him, succeed. You start to see him dominate. Once you rely on him, make him the guy, the go-to guy, he's gonna make it happen. But this is not all. Some NBA executives had to say this about the trio. Some NBA executives believe DeMar DeRozan's fit with De'Aaron Fox and Domantas Sabonis has contributed to the Sacramento Kings sub minus 500 start to the season, according to ESPN's Tim Bontemps, Brian Windhorst. And also, one Western Conference executive, told Bontemps, if I'm pronouncing his name right, he is who he is. What he does takes away from what both Fox and Sabonis do because they tend to operate in the same areas on the court. Another NBA executive told Windhorst DeMar DeRozan is a highly skilled player who is great to have in the locker room and a guy who you want to give the ball to at the end of the game. But his play hasn't driven winning. And it's something that unfortunately has been the case throughout his career. And it's part of why he's changed teams a bunch. Wow. You see here, that speaks volumes because of looking at it. it just goes to show you, no matter where DeMar DeRozan has gone, his play style doesn't add up to the teams he's been on. Like, honestly, it depends on the fit. If whatever team he's on, whatever their scheme is, their play style, the way they approach each game, it depends. I do believe that he's when he was with Toronto, he did have a lot of great moments, and they were getting to the playoffs. But honestly, when it came to Chicago, that was when he really set the tone. That's when you really start to see the best of DeMar DeRozan. So I get, I understand where they're coming from. Where yeah, it does take away from Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox because if you really look at it, DeMar DeRozan is mainly he has that mid range shooting. He's a mid range shooter. So like picture this: De'Aaron Fox. You got De'Aaron Fox and DeMar DeRozan on the floor. De'Aaron Fox is more so of a slasher. He gets to the rim 9 times out of 10, but he's also getting the mid range going. So it's kind of like when you try to run a pick and roll, it's like who gets the ball? Is it going to be De'Aaron Fox or is it going to be DeMar DeRozan? And yet it can be tricky at times of who gets the ball, who how does this work? How who it's kind of like, Russell Westbrook, we heard this a lot. Russell Westbrook has been switching on a bunch of teams until he had to find the right fit for him, and that's Denver. He had to get on a team where they looked at his play style, they seen what he brings to a team, and he was able to flourish. He's able to flourish and make other players great better too with his passing ability, his energy, his competitive drive. So when you look at DeMar DeRozan, it's like I think where it lies in is who's the leader on the team. We already know who the leader on the team is, De'Aaron Fox, because that's he's the guy. And at the same time, you're gonna want the pros and cons to is like who's the leader on this team. And the good thing about it is you're gonna want DeMar DeRozan to get the ball at the last minute. And same for De'Aaron Fox. De'Aaron Fox has knocked down a couple of game-winning shots as well. But DeMar DeRozan, yeah, you're gonna want the ball in his hands to knock down to take the last shot because he can actually get a win for your team. It doesn't have to be a three-point shot. He can hit a mid-range shot and get it going, or he can draw contact, attention to himself, drive to the basket, absorb the contact, get the layup, and go to the free throw line and get his shots up and still win the game for the team. So that's another thing to take into consideration. But I do realize the flow of the team because Sabonis being in the paint, Sabonis moving around a lot. You got three players who like to move around a lot, and then it's like who really gets the ball, who really gonna get the ball, and at the same time who's the leader, like I said before. But it's there's pros and cons to it, like it was said by the execs. I understand where they're coming from. Yes, it kind of messes with the flow of Sabonis and De'Aaron Fox, and also the good part about it is he's a highly skilled player and he can contribute to that team. It just depends on their scheme and what they run. But anyways, that is all for today's episode. Once again, like, comment, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you can be notified every time I upload an episode. I'm Devin, and I'm signing off.
Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show.